Hola, ¿cómo estás, amigos? Me llamo Kurt. Hey, everybody. So I got the hola from Joey Two Guns, and now I speak Spanish. Not really. I mean, I kind of do actually, but not good, not well enough to do the show in Spanish. I'm fired again, aren't I? Please like, subscribe, hit the alert bell so you can meet our new host next week after they have let me go. No, it's always a pleasure to be here. I am Kurt Wooker Jr. here until further notice. Hope everybody's doing well. I am quite well today, actually. We're enjoying the weather, enjoying the family. Did leg day today at the gym, so I'm sitting here like trembling a little bit on the lower body, which is good, I think. But always, you know, when it happens, it's one of those. But anyways, I'm trying to hold it together here. It's group therapy sessions here that we like to call the CoinGeek Weekly Livestream. Again, please like, subscribe, hit the alert bell. Thank you to our sponsors, RockWallet. You folks, you're up to the fun stuff lately. MNEE has launched as of yesterday, and pretty excited about it. It's been really cool to see all of the action happening over there. We're going to talk a little bit about some of the action about to happen over here with our guest today, Brandon Cryderman from HandCash and the Veridian team. So we'll get there though, I promise. And just really exciting. We've needed a stablecoin on BSV for 6 or 7 years, and now we finally got there, and it's pretty good thing. And I'm excited to see what's happening next because there's lots of cool stuff that enables, and I'm excited to be part of as much of that as I can be. So good stuff, everybody. Again, our sponsor, RockWallet, and the money team, and all those folks, which are, you know, a little bit closely related, but they have been a delightful sponsor here of the show. So please use RockWallet for doing all the stuff you do with your cryptos. So if you want to exchange your stuff, you want to store your stuff, you want to keep your seed phrase self-sovereign, go bury it in the backyard like a cypherpunk, by all means, go do that with RockWallet. It's a pretty good tool for that. And then you can do your swapping in the wallet as well, which requires KYC because, you know, not allowed to exchange your money without the government's permission. So let's not go there. I said in the lead up to the show that I was going to spend a couple of minutes. Oh, also thank you to Chanpions TCG, who gives away a full card pack for the comment of the day. So please make the comment of the day, and we're going to make that happen too. I said I was going to be a little bit critical of the what was supposed to be the Bitcoin Strategic Reserve. Okay, so this is the government choosing what crypto that you, as an American, get to hold in your portfolio. So I'm going to address Donald Trump directly because I hear Donald watches the show. So Mr. President, I'm very much an independent. I am not a knee-jerk critic. I don't love or hate you necessarily. I like the things that I like about you, and I dislike the things that I dislike from a policy standpoint without getting overly emotional. Okay, so I'm not one of these people that loses myself in the orange man, bad, good, any of that. I'm not that guy. Okay. However, if there is money, if the U.S. government has any money that it could be using to buy things like XRP, ADA, Solana, or anything else, any other strategic asset that it could be buying, if you have that money, which based on the debt situation, I would say we do not have that money, but let's assume that we account for it in such a way that there's like, hey, there's a pile of money here that we could be buying assets for the nation. I would implore you. I am going to give a respectful challenge and say, please just give that money back to the U.S. taxpayer. That's actually our money, and with my money, I would not like in my name to be held XRP, Solana, ADA, or anything else. I really do not want you to buy assets on my behalf. Now, for anybody watching who's unsure what a strategic reserve is or why we have one, what is the purpose of such a thing? Well, these things exist in, so let's say you want to stockpile things like rare earth minerals, like the important stuff, right? Or oil. Oil's another good one, or uranium, or some of these things. Like during times of war, major supply chain breakdown, or famine, or like major economic collapse, like these kind of things. Then you could say, hey, really good thing we got like oil and some of these key things that people need, that a government needs in order, in an emergency to deploy in order to like stabilize and continue to propagate life, wealth, the pursuit of happiness, and all of these things. That's what you would have in a strategic reserve. This is the purpose of a strategic reserve. Now, I can't think of anything that the U.S. government would need strategically with XRP, Solana, or Cardano. Okay, they aren't used in the real economy for anything, much less something that would be strategic in an emergency. And so, again, my challenge is this: if you have the money to be buying crypto assets, give that money back as a return to the U.S. taxpayer. That's it. That's my position. And I think anything else about it is insane. Okay, so that's where I'm at. That's my rant of the day. Please read my article. I didn't even post it. I forgot to post my article this morning. So that's how my day's been. I wrote about this. Check my articles on CoinGeek.com. My article today basically explains the same thing, goes into the details of here's what all these assets do. Here's why we don't need them in a strategic reserve. And, you can subscribe to my stuff and please share my stuff around. And it's pretty great. Okay, so we are going to cut to an ad from our sponsor, RockWallet. We're going to be back with Brandon Cryderman, who is one of the key guys over at HandCash. He's been there for years. He knows all about the ins and outs and the goings on and all of that jazz. So we're going to hear about HandCash right after this. We will be right back. Brandon, sir, how are you, my friend?
Good. How are you, Kurt? It's been a while.
It has been a while. I think you've been on the show more than once, but it has been at least a year. So yeah. It's good to have you back. Well, I guess let's jump into it. You are the head of business development at HandCash, which is, frankly, the most important role in any software company. Usually, software companies are founded by a founder and a guy that wants to dev, and a lot of times those guys aren't sure how to push anything to market. And so I have always told everybody, especially in the Bitcoin space, invest in a really good business development guy. And so you're that guy, Brandon. So what are you up to at HandCash? What is HandCash up to? What are you excited about? Let's do the quick maybe bullet points, and then we'll drill into what's going on.
Yeah, thanks, Kurt, for the introduction. Yeah, I would say just we're trying to just make the best gaming platform out there. We started off, how we started off in our origins. We were a wallet for a little while, and when we found Chanpions TCG, it was just a perfect fit. And so we're in the process of reestablishing that that partnership with Chanpions TCG and really just redefining the whole user journey, because I think we've made a lot of asynchronous changes on both ends, both platforms, and I think now it's just time to put it all together and just see what people think of it. And one of our biggest inspirations for a gaming platform is Steam right now. Like they've really annexed it. They've really done a great job. They have a great items market, but I think with some of the advantages we bring to the table, we could do a better job at that. So looked a lot at Amazon, for example. They tried to make a competitor for Steam, and they failed. Looking at the reasons why they did, what went wrong for them, and just really trying to create that unique experience that just really captures that new user, the new gamer, and just bring it all home, connect it all together.
Incredible. So Champions TCG is one of the real examples that I give when people are like, well, is anybody doing anything like in BSV or actually in any blockchain? It's like, isn't that just a scam? Isn't that just, whatever? And this applies to my normie friends who, they hear about Solana meme coin trading or whatever else. And like, they all just kind of think like blockchain stuff is something of a joke, or you get the guys who are just like, I don't know, man, I made $1,000 in XRP and now I'm like crypto bro of the century or whatever. But when I explain to people like what the technology can do or should do, I only have a few examples of things that I'm actually kind of proud to say, like, hey, here's a real business with real customers doing real things. And Champions is one of those things. So
Absolutely.
You recently had an announcement about like a sort of partnership, joint venture. I don't know the ins and outs of what the paperwork says, but can you go into what exactly is HandCash's relationship with Champions? Like, how has that changed over the last few months, and what should people know about that?
Yeah, for sure. I think how it came about is just we saw a lot of potential in the project. We've been working with the project for a long time, and then we just decided that it was time to start investing more into this relationship, investing more into the project, and say, hey, we're going to put up some development resources for you guys. We're going to help you guys get the best integration possible, so that the experience for a new user is just super smooth, super easy. We don't want people to come into your game and have to worry about how do I get a wallet, all of this stuff. But we also want people to be able to experience the benefits of those things. So by putting it all together, what I mean is that you come into a website and you register just like any other website, and you immediately have access to your wallet, your items, the ability to deposit with any cryptocurrency, something we support now. We will be supporting credit cards in the short future.
Sure.
Also, the ability to withdraw money to your bank account, and then on top of that, the stablecoin with money. I mean, we got all the pieces. We're just putting them together right now, and everything's there. Everything's pretty much ready. So, I think there's been a lot of untapped potential that just putting all these pieces together is really just gonna bring it home for everybody.
Sure.
And will help us break basically BSV into the mainstream eyes without even people realizing that they're using BSV.
Yep. Well, I think that's key. I've actually always thought that's key, and not just with BSV, but actually many years ago, treating Bitcoin as, hey, this is just like, I don't sit and obsess about, like, there are people that collect coins and those kind of things. Like, there are people that are like really into the money, but really it's about the things that you do with the money. That's what you're actually excited about. Like, rich people aren't just like walking around with stacks like you do in a music video, but but normally it's like, here's my Bentley, here's my yacht, here's whatever. Like, it's the other thing, right? The thing that you do with the money is actually the flex. And or you get the filthy rich people that drive a 30-year-old Toyota and they're a billionaire anyways, and that's its own flex. But this obsession, this weird like worshipfulness that goes into Bitcoin in general has always been very weird to me. And HandCash, it's funny because in no small way, like, the HandCash ethos is a lot what sort of dragged me into the BSV variation on this stuff. Like, I was a Bitcoin casher, but I really liked HandCash's sort of ethos of making it all disappear. Like, we're going to abstract away a lot of the nerdy Bitcoiny stuff, the neckbeard stuff, the all this stuff. And it's like, no, the interface should be pleasant to use, or like, all these things. It was like, well, isn't that obvious? And at this point, I guess it's still not, like, globally obvious, because everybody still is just sort of working on, being who they're being. But I think that eventually, all of a sudden, it's going to be that people are going to stop wanting to be the nerd. Like, I don't send people faxes, just to be like, bro, come on, I still got a fax machine. I'm still like, I'm ready for the internet to go down and use my phone lines. But anyways, HandCash deserves a lot of credit for that, I think. And I think that as much as you guys have invested in that, I know it's a lot. I think it will pay off in your user experience stuff. Will just sort of turn into, like, now I'm using the block. I didn't even realize it's a blockchain thing. I'm just having fun.
Yeah, no, exactly. And the distinction here too is, like, we don't want to cut out the neck beards. We don't want to cut out the people that are nerdy. And we, over the years, we've come to appreciate a lot of these like nerdy tools that are like separate from from
Sure.
HandCash as we've starting to, grow into a gaming platform, really realizing, how important the rest of the community is, how important the rest of all these tools are.
Yep.
And, still being able to interact with that community. Like if you want, you can still send all your funds out to Simply Cash and hold it there. If you want to,
Right.
have self-custody,
Yeah.
on the 12 words and all that. Like we want to make sure that all of that's supported. People still have the freedom, but when you come to HandCash, you come to game, you come to collect, you come to socialize.
Yep.
Hopefully, we're going to be building out the social aspect of the platform a little bit more over the coming year. But yeah, really just focusing on actual product instead of just being like this general Bitcoin solution, right? Like blockchain is supposed to solve real world problems. So blockchain is a means, not an end.
Yes. Very important. So as far as means to an end goes, the people that are sort of anti-fiat, or the people that don't want to use credit cards, or the people, and I respect those people too. I've always been something of a like pirate separatist type myself. So when I say nerds, I'm including myself in the nerdiness. I was into Bitcoin when it was a lot nerdier than it is today, actually. But the fun thing about things like HandCash is it's like, hey man, you shouldn't have to have your sovereign wealth connected to like your PlayStation. Like sometimes you just want to play a game or goof around with your friends, and like
Exactly.
that's okay. So
yeah, and that's the great thing about being able to move money around on the internet. Like this is something that people don't. A lot of people still don't get about crypto is that the miracle here is you can move money around on the internet. You can move it from different services. You can move it from different apps, from place to place, from person to person. That's the innovation here, and we're extending that to assets as well. And I think it's just great.
Yeah. Well, and that's I think really the key thing is it can be small amounts too. Like everybody thinks about the big numbers. I see the tweets and stuff every day. They're like, somebody just moved $100 million, only cost them $2 on BTC, and isn't that awesome? And it's like, that is actually awesome. That is a cool thing. But there's a lot of really cool things that you can do in the sub-cent economy where just a little bit of money makes the whole experience that much more interesting, or that much more incentivized, and that you can play this stuff. So again, kudos to you guys on like the nano payments economy and that kind of thing. One of the things that came up in our preparation for the show is all of a sudden I'm seeing this brand Veridian, which is off the top of my, I'm not a strict Latin speaker, but I did take Latin for a year in high school, and for me, Veridian makes me think of the color green, and the color green makes me think of HandCash. And immediately I said, is that what's the relation here? And so can you go into like what exactly is this Veridian thing? What's the brand? Like what are you guys up to?
Yeah, so Veridian Veridian is basically the brainchild of Alex, former CEO, and Rafa. Rafa is our CTO. And as we started to transition HandCash into a gaming platform, we started narrowing more and more in on the gaming market. And as great as that was, and as helpful as that is to make an actual product, we started to realize that we had all of this amazing backend infrastructure that is just going to one use case, right? So we're like cutting out all these other use cases to focus in on a market, but we have these tools that are just so general purpose that could be used for anything in the world, really. So that started our journey towards creating. What is it? We had a couple names for it. It's called Wallet API now. Okay. So it used to be called Wallet as a Service. I think you interviewed Rafa on that once, but basically it's Wallet API now. Wallet API is going to be a Veridian product, and but it's not what Veridian is. So Veridian is actually a consultancy firm. We basically take anybody that's interested in building something on blockchain. We hear them out. We give them a blueprint of how we think they can get that done. We offer consultancy services on top of that, and then ultimately, for most clients, we think the most logical choice will be to use wallet API through Veridian to build something out. So if you want to build your own HandCash, you can build your own HandCash now. We give you the tools to do exactly the same thing that we're doing over here.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So what would be, I mean, is the Chanpions integration, would that be an example of the utilization of those tools, or is there some other thing, or is this all like skunk works at this point? Like, hey, big things coming.
It's all ready to go. We have the beta. We have it in technically beta, but it's all fully featured. It's all there. Okay. Maybe there's a few endpoints we need to turn the switch on people can use, but yes, it would be different from a game integration, right? So you have the two things. You have the game integration, which is when you connect Chanpions, for example, to HandCash, or Farm Syndicate to HandCash, which is a new game we'll talk about in a bit. Yeah. And then Veridian is more like, HandCash is the platform, and then it's a distribution platform for games. And so Veridian is, Wallet API, I should say, is more of a tool set so you can create your own platform, your own distribution platform, for example. If you wanted to make a distribution platform for books using the same technology as HandCash, you could do that. Ebooks, for example, right? If you wanted to do it for real estate, if you wanted to do it for AI, if you wanted to build your own pump.fun, you could use Wallet API to do that. And it would be, you could get it done probably in a week.
Yeah. Nice. So question, and pivoting a little bit, but the money stablecoin, Alex was a big proponent of, hey, we need a stablecoin on BSV. You guys were among the first trying to get it done. You guys hit a bunch of roadblocks on this. This is going back, I don't know, 3 or 4 years ago at this point, but like really pushing to get USDC on BSV and some of these things. There was a lot of excitement. Then it ended up being kind of a like, shoot, like, the deal fell through at the 11th hour kind of situation, which was unfortunate. But we then had to, the community pull together. Okay, what, like, how do we do this? And the RockWallet people, seems like they figured it out. Like the liquidity, the legal logistics stuff, which is the nightmare part of this, and then then develop the money stablecoin. So it looks like a few wallets want to integrate with it pretty immediately, which is cool. I know it's already available on yours wallet and RockWallet, so that's exciting. What is the HandCash like roadmap, time frame? Is this like, hey, we're banging it out Friday, or like what's the what does that look like?
Yeah, so we're still working on a couple parts. So the integration is almost done. It's almost ready to go. But that doesn't finish it. There's a couple other things we need to account for. For example, swaps. We need to be able to swap into money, swap from BSV to money out to your bank account, stuff like that. Basically, everything that we support for BSV right now, we want it to be just as well supported for money, in order for money to be the main currency there. And we're getting close. We're putting the people together, talking together, and getting those conversations started. So probably, it's definitely sometime this year. This year we'll be launching on HandCash. That said, Veridian Wallet API, anybody's looking to talk to us, we will have the infrastructure ready sooner for Veridian, actually, to be able to run money using our Wallet API. So if you want to be one of the first products to have a workable functioning platform with money, I would get in touch with us and talk to us about Veridian.
Very cool. So it's funny in the GameFi space, like for me, when I look back 5 years, I thought games were going to absolutely explode and be like the big thing. And I still kind of think that will be the case. I think the real problem with GameFi and basically everything in the blockchain space is the fact that there's a lot of blockchains, and then so you end up in a silo. Like, well, I got some Polygon to play the game that I wanted to play, but I'm kind of in this Polygon ecosystem, and so if I want to switch, I need to bridge, I need to swap, I need to whatever, I need to go over to Solana or anything like. So there's this problem. Now, this is partially why I'm a firm believer in this need for like a single global network eventually for all the really, really cool stuff. you want there to be one dominant blockchain that does all this cool stuff.
Yeah.
However, in the meantime, there's like $1 trillion in liquidity floating around across all these other blockchains that are doing these things. So we live in a world that your customers are maybe over here, maybe over there, and they're kind of everywhere. And so what is the challenge, and what is the HandCash strategy on making this as easy as possible? Because the one thing that we don't have is that most of these things are Ethereum based, which allows them to bridge easily. The assets are all very similarly architected, and so they sort of speak the same foundational language. But BSV is UTXO model. It's very, very different smart contract language, token logic, and that kind of thing. What are you guys doing on that front to make that possible? What does that look like? How much work goes into stuff like that?
Yeah, I mean, first off, I just want to say, like, kudos to OneSat Ordinals for stepping in, providing that initiative when we really needed it. Yeah. For everybody, just the protocol's been working very well for us. We're able to do sub penny, or sorry, about a penny transactions. The lowest price card on the market's a penny. We can do that and still profit, which is amazing.
Awesome.
The amazing part about this model of kind of digital certificates is that you can have verifiable ownership, not only of money, but of individually designated goods, right? So you can have a trading card, and you can have basically a transaction or unspent output that says, I own this trading card, right? And you can't double spend it. It solves all the same problems. Right. So this non-fungible tokens, like, they're really useful. But they're not, like, you can't just sell an NFT and say, oh, hey, it's an NFT. That's selling a proof of concept, right? You got to sell something, a game. People actually need to be able to enjoy the game. People need to be able to sink money into the game. You can't say, oh, we're doing a sale and expect every single person to participate in the sale in order to be able to flip their cards, return some sort of a profit. No, you need to have people that are actually willing to spend money on a game, which is real gamers, right? So that's why, we've always had this mindset of, let's target the mainstream demographic. But at the same time, we don't want to cut out crypto people there too, because there's a Venn diagram, right? There's an overlap where people meet in the middle, and that's really the market right now. We want to expand out of the middle of that Venn diagram, but that's where we're looking right now.
Yep. Well, that's the hard thing too, because you get basically everything that I've participated in has been like, oh, this is going to be cool, but everybody does. They want to make that like 100x on that thing they bought on the pre-sale, but like, you don't have the underlying gamer culture. And like I have a 5-year-old son, so for like, there's Pokemon cards everywhere in my damn house, and like, I have to hear about it 3 times a day. Like, Dad, what's your favorite Pokemon? And this and that. I'm like, hey, we had this talk 2 hours ago, but sure, sit on my lap again. We're going to talk about it again. And like, there has to be a passion about the game. The value of a rare card is very closely related to the fact that there's like 1 million kids and a few, tens of thousands of adults that are like, hey man, I actually just like to play the game. Like, there's something visceral about the game itself that means a rare card in the game will have more monetary value to people that want to play the game. And so, then that creates the secondary speculative market. But if you don't have that fundamental base of people that want to play the damn game, then you're all just hoping somebody else is the idiot that wants to buy your card for no reason. Yeah. And I don't know why that's not more obvious to people, that like, hey guys, like, knock, 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 you need to make a game that people want to play. And so,
yeah. And it's not to say you can't make money, on the market being smart. I think, I don't know the exact percentages, but I think it's like 5% of Steam users are actually routinely turning a profit by, using the market. Steam has 15% fees on all trades.
Crazy.
So we're at like 9% if you include royalties, and there's just much lower friction. The market is just super easy to use. It's going to get even easier as time goes. But yeah, I think there's a lot of potential here, and I see it over on other platforms. And right now, I think where we're hitting the niche is this this idea of web gaming. The web games that have been on our platform have been the most successful. And if you look at Steam, they don't support web-based games, right? So we have that kind of niche where there's people that are not being serviced. Steam is also very anti-crypto. That's another area is not being serviced, right? So I think there's just there's this big market of people that want, you know, to have fun gaming. They want to actually own their games. And, you know, just to touch quickly on this idea of like digital rights management, we used to be able to own our games. You used to be able to go, and you still technically you can, but you used to go to a midnight release for Call of Duty, World at War, whatever.
I used to do those.
Yeah, you'd stand in line. You'd be so excited to just grab your copy of the game. And when you grabbed it, you knew it was your copy. And you're like, I'm going to go home. I'm going to play this. I'm going to have this copy forever. Or I'm going to, you know, trade it in when I'm done with it. And that used to be you owned a copy. And now when you're looking the digital realm, it's not owning a copy anymore. You're actually buying a license. And the license says you have permission to play this game on our platform as long as you follow our terms and services. If we ban your account, you don't have access to this game anymore. You can't sell your copy of your game. You can't trade your copy of the game. We can modify the copy of your game if we want, right? So that's all completely changed. And so for us, I think that's something we really want to bring back is this idea of like, you can buy a copy. You can buy a copy of not just a game, but a game item. You can buy a copy of an expansion pack. You can send it, trade it to a friend, a book, whatever it is, right? Let's bring back copies so that people actually have, you know, sovereignty over what they own and not just, you know, licenses here and there.
Yeah, I mean, that's would be nice, right? Well, and it is. It's such a weird thing because I'm that kind of collector in that I used to buy like special edition DVDs and these kind of like I just liked that kind of stuff. And I'm not a huge consumer. I don't have like a huge movie collection. I'm the kind of guy that's got like 30 movies. I have my 30 favorite movies, but I've got the like special edition with all the features and the director's cut and all the keep it PG-13 over here. But like I like that kind of experience with the thing I buy. So I'm not like a big quantity guy, but I'm a quality guy when it comes to this kind of thing. And I would think that this would be a great opportunity to do that really well. So I'm excited to see that.
Yeah, for sure. One thing we can go into next is this Farm Syndicate game. I'm not sure how much you've heard about it.
I've seen a little bit of whisper marketing about it, but tell me about it. What's the game? What's your connection to it? So I don't get addicted to a lot of the game stuff, but back in the day, I used to play Farmville, and I got really weirdly into Farmville for a good bit. So
no, I have the same problem. Either I'm not gaming or I'm gaming like 24/7. I can't stop. So it's a hard balance to make. And that, you know, again, that connects to this Farm Syndicate project because the Farm Syndicate guys, the formerly known as Fox Syndicate.
Oh, okay.
You probably remember the Clutch collection, right?
Oh, yeah.
Boxes. We're going to be trying to import those too, by the way, and those will actually be part of the game.
Nice.
It's going to take a bit of time. But, you know, getting back to this is they're basing their game off of this auto battler. It's a super popular auto battler called Super Auto Pets. I'm not sure if you've heard of it.
No.
But anyway, Super Auto Pets, super fun. You basically you buy little sorry, the kids are screaming upstairs.
I've got an army of kids in my life. It doesn't bug me at all anymore.
You buy these little animals and you put them on the board, and each turn you try to populate your 5 spaces and like upgrade your animals, and then when you end your turn, you get basically matched up with some random build where the animals just kind of fight each other, and it's like and eventually one side wins, right? Whoever has the strongest side. Each animal has different abilities, different stuff. So, you know, basically it's an addictive game because you can just keep playing and playing and playing. You don't even have to wait to queue up with people because you're playing against builds. Let's say you have a build on turn 3, you're playing against somebody else who had made a build in the past on turn 3. So you don't even have to wait for a queue. You just go in, you build, and then you just go and you try to win 10 games without losing 5 lives.
Sure.
And then when you're done, you just want to start all over again, do it again, and do a better job, right? So it's just, I've been getting super hooked into it, spending way too much time on it, but it's
cool.
The guys over at Farm Syndicate, they're doing a great job building out basically a similar game to this. And you know, they're going to be using aspects of HandCash to monetize cosmetics, mainly cosmetics for the game, and and things like and Super Hot Pets, they call them little heroes, right? Which is like kind of if you're thinking like Pokemon, it's like your Pokemon trainer. Not to get sued by Nintendo or anything, but it's you have this like trainer that is there cheering on all your little pets as they're battling each other.
Nice. That's exciting. I mean, it's the kind of thing that, you know, when you get people going, the addictive aspect of like just being competitive with yourself in a game that is like juicy and discoverable and fun to play. Like that's always the, I mean, that's the recipe. So I'm excited to see it. Is there a release date for Farm Syndicate?
We do not have a release date now. It will be sometime this month.
This month?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So yeah, we're not.
2026,
Kurt. Like, all right.
We just released an article for this month. It's March, so we're calling it Mint Madness, and so that includes the Champions TCG collector coin, which you might have seen. We launched today. We airdropped 60 golden ticket holders, and then the remaining 240 collectors coins are getting sold.
Cool. Yeah, I saw some people posting their collector coin. I don't know if I got one. I may have. So
do you have a golden ticket?
I do have a golden ticket. So
okay. Then you've probably got one then.
All right. I will have to I'll have to go check. So here's a good question. Why is it that the gaming community hates crypto? I have a theory because I used to GPU mine, and that was always the antagonism that I had. Is that if I had a gamer friend that saw that we had GPUs, they were like, "You're the reason I can't get a GPU to play my game," or that they cost $3,000 instead of $1,000. But is there more to it than that?
I think so. Yeah, I think so. From what I've seen, a lot of these games are developed to prop up a specific blockchain, right?
Sure.
So, like you have a gaming platform or a game that is heavily funded in order to say, boost the price of a coin or validate a specific chain, right? But is the user experience actually better than if you weren't using blockchain at all? And I think in most cases, the answer is no. Yeah. And so I think for gamers, it's like you're trying to shoehorn us into a crappy user experience and play games that like aren't even fun. Or one of the biggest things is, this play to earn thing, or sorry, pay to win. The pay to win is a problem, right? And it's we try to avoid that as much as possible. Trading cards, it's kind of cool because you can build a $2 deck and you can beat $100 deck with a $2 deck if you're skilled enough. Nice. So there's a little bit of pay to win isn't that bad, but when you have people, when you require people to spend $1,000 on a deck just to even have a chance at playing the game, you're really just making a special club. You're not being inclusive to gamers, and so I think that's the big reason why most gamers don't like crypto.
No, that's fair, and frankly, it's funny because I was not a big gamer, but I did like to game a bit, and then the same thing. Like I have friends that were pushing a game on a blockchain. I'm like, oh, I'll try it because I'm a blockchain guy, and like then I realized like this isn't even fun. Like we have gotten we have gotten away from the enjoyment of a game as the premise for gaming. So
you always have to ask yourself right now, gamers too, when someone tries to sell them on a blockchain game, they have to ask themselves, okay, is this person just trying to pump his coin or not, right? And that's
terrible. What a nightmare. Yeah. Here's a good question, and one that HandCash has been trying to solve forever. How long until I can use my debit card to buy BSV without any hassle? Onboarding has always been an issue with BSV. You guys have been on again, off again on this topic a little bit. What's the current state of affairs, and what do we have to look forward to?
Yeah, so I'll first off apologize to everybody that, over the years we've gone through a lot of providers. We've gone through a lot of, crypto swap providers, credit card providers. We've tried a lot of stuff to try to get this to work. Yeah. We're getting somewhere, rest assured. Right now, the current state of things is we have crypto swaps. So you can deposit any crypto coin in all of crypto, basically, and convert that into BSV through a widget on our website. Super easy to get done. It's pretty quick. If you have any problems, just contact our support. We have live support on the site now, by the way, bottom left corner. And then the other thing is we do have Gardarian for credit card top-ups. There is some level of KYC for that, which I know everybody hates, but it's there. It's an option. But I think what's really going to improve the experience is getting credit card support for the shop items in the platform. So that's kind of a little bit of a workaround for us. But when you are just selling these shop items, you're not actually selling crypto. You're just selling, items that work in the game, like something, tangible for game items. So you can use the same kind of credit card providers as you would for Fortnite, for any other, mainstream game, right? So we're working now on some partnerships to be able to integrate that into the platform. So maybe you can't easily top up your BSV balance or money balance with a credit card without doing any KYC, but you'll still be able to get in. You still be able to do the main thing that you're there to do, which is gaming. Yeah. So you can still get in. You still play games. You can still buy your packs, still buy your cards, and another thing is we're going to be subsidizing people that are buying these game items. So we have a plan for hourly payouts for Champions that's going to be executed soon. We're going to be putting a bit more money towards those hourly payouts so that you imagine you come into the game, you buy some cards with a credit card, but now all of a sudden you're earning money, you're earning BSV or whatever, right? And then that gets circulated back into the market, and then that's when you have people getting their hands on the actual currency. So there's still a way to get in. And also with this partnership, we're working on it. We might also have off ramps for BSV. So that's all pending. Don't want to make any promises, but that's what we're working on right now.
It's hard. So here's a question that's been floating around for about a decade now, like stablecoins versus the underlying asset. What is your take, first of all, on using a stablecoin instead of like Bitcoin? Or if you want to skip that part of it, which is a little bit philosophical, like what are just the advantages, disadvantages? How do you see it? Maybe yourself personally versus if your personal position is different from HandCash's position. I'd be curious to hear that too.
Yeah, I think it just comes down to business. When you go up to a game company and you say, "Hey, I've got this amazing platform with these game items. People can use real money to buy and sell these game items. It's really fun. Try it out." But you have to use this thing that's not dollars, and this thing that's not dollars is a cryptocurrency, and this cryptocurrency is called BSV. And you start it kind of derails the whole pitch once you get into that, because you have to sell them. You can't just sell them on your platform at that point. You have to sell them on the currency that's being used in your platform, right? And so if you don't have dollars, you kind of have there's an extra leap of faith that needs to be made for any sort of client relationship. Honestly, I don't think users are bothered by it that much. I don't think users really care if they're using dollars or BSV. I think having dollars is still more attractive, and we're still planning on pulling in a lot more people with the support for dollars. But I think it really just comes down to business.
Yeah. No, I think that's the right attitude to have. I get people that will occasionally criticize me and be, Kurt's a traitor. If I if I say yeah, we'll host ASICs for BTC mining if you want. And I get the people that are literally like, oh my God, and I'm just a little bit like, all right, look, if I'm going to go spend 2 weeks in France, I'm going to have to use euros and
mining those filthy blocks.
Right. Well, and just the whole thing is hey man, the economy is asking me if I'd be willing to do this other thing in order to just have a business relationship with a person. And it's a very weird purity test to me to just be, a hard no on, which again, it's like me walking around France and being like, no, accept the dollar. You want the dollar. And some people might be like, yeah, I don't know, I guess I would take $1, but you got, shouldn't be part of the negotiation because it's a weird part to add to any negotiation.
Yeah. In my mind, BSV wins when it's plumbing. When BSV can establish itself as actual plumbing, actual workable, usable plumbing, where you can say, putting a blockchain in my product is objectively improving the whole experience of my product.
Right.
And you're using BSV as the plumbing for all of that. That's when the price is going to pump. That's when you're going to see everybody wanting to buy BSV, because at that point it becomes a commodity to a certain extent. And until you get there, people aren't going to take it seriously, right? You're making big promises. That the reason that all these other coins pump is because they make realistic promises, and short-term promises that they can fulfill, or that they can pretend to fulfill, and then their coin pumps.
Yep.
You have in BSV, on the other hand, where our promise is to take over the whole world, basically, right? So, until we get there, until we can at least show a working model where that's viable, you're not going to see any sort of appreciation on it.
Well, it's you said it, the commodity aspect of things. If Bitcoin is digital oil and all we have are these really weird cars that nobody wants to buy, then the oil doesn't have any value. Exactly. But as soon as you start making, hey, this thing's drivable, it's probably not going to kill you. It might get you from your house to work every day for months at a time without any problems. Then all of a sudden the oil has value. But it's people, I don't know, man. I think economics just used to make sense, and people just don't get it anymore. Nobody wants to work. I had somebody, I'm going to get political for 2 seconds here, but I had somebody that was mad at me because I said, oh, cool, they're going to fire a bunch of IRS agents. That's good. How is that a good thing? And I was like, because they're federal employees who are living off money that is being taken from us. And their response is that no, it doesn't matter if they're productive or any of these things. It just matters that they get paid, because their income becomes a baseline for spending money at retail on other things. So they were worried about the consequences to Walmart and Target and that economy if IRS agents are not being paid anymore. They're like, no, that's why you need federal employees as a baseline of consumerism. It's it's clawing my eyes out as I'm reading this response. But yeah, I don't know, man. The people and incentives. I don't know, man. Everyone's got to get back to 5th grade math as a start here. I think.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, it's lost on a lot of people, unfortunately, and it ends up hurting them in the end, because they end up buying bad products, bad ingredients in their food, and this and that. So
yeah,
it's you really have to kind of have a keen eye for things these days in order to get through unscathed.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Now they hate the guy that wants to get the fluoride out of the water, but it's the fluoride. The fluoride made them love the IRS agent, and now they hate the guy that's trying to clean their brains out. So I don't know.
People are so fixed to the status quo, Kurt, that they don't question the origins of anything anymore, right? Yeah. It's well, why did we put it in there to begin with? What were the incentives that led to it being put in there to begin with? Yeah. People don't look at that, right? People are like, oh, well, it's in there now. Why are you trying to change things? It's a backwards way of looking at it.
It is. It's really weird. So we have about 10 minutes left. I'm wondering if there's anything that you wanted to talk about that maybe we haven't gotten to. Is there some big thing that you want people to definitely know about before they start tuning out and looking for late lunch here?
Okay, yeah. So I'll try to hit a few points here. So, main kind of pillars to look forward to in HandCash, we're going to really focus on identity, your identity within the gaming ethos, the gaming sphere, your inventory, being able to like manage your inventory in a tangible sense, the most tangible that you can get in digital world, and just the market. Those three things. We focused on the market. We focused on a little bit of identity, but that's like the trinity for us, right? Is connecting those three things, getting those three things well integrated into each and every game. So look forward to better integrations with HandCash, more engaging experience, more connected experience, less hassle. It's going to be easier to, and the main thing is you're going to be able to recommend this to a friend without being embarrassed, right? You're going to be able to say, hey,
please God. Yeah.
You're going to be able to say, hey, check out this Champions TCG game. It's really fun. They're going to go to the Champions TCG website. They're going to start playing. They're going to get introduced to HandCash. You don't have to even tell them about HandCash. They will learn about it as they go. And the user journey, that user story, that's what we're building on right now. That's what we're defining. And if you just lead people down the right path, then you don't have to explain everything to them. It just happens. It's just natural.
Yep.
And I always say, that a sin is just forcing nature, right? So if you have to force something, that's not the right way to go about it. Just try to create a natural path, an organic path to success, to getting in there, getting stuff done.
Yeah. Well, it's funny. My brother's gonna chuckle because one of the old adages, like all the stuff that started any of this, was that good ideas don't require force. It's an old libertarian adage from I don't even know how it might be 1,000-year-old saying that's been regurgitated, but that was always something that really mattered to me as an idea, that if I can't convince you that something is just objectively good and you voluntarily say, wow, I'd like to try that, I'd like to be your friend, I'd like to participate, like if you need to start like forming a picket line and like you have to do business with this person, like it's immediately like your idea is a bad idea, right? So I don't know, and we don't seem to be able to get that really right in the crypto sphere very much. Some people do actually, but a lot of people have this sort of toxic, like, wow, we gotta route out the impure or whatever. It's like your classic what do you call it, handmaiden's tale version of blockchain space. Like we're all having fun now when the impure have been purged. So.
Yeah, it happens everywhere. We're guilty of it too, Kurt. But we're getting there. We're learning, and I think it's just in the end, people will see the potential when you present, something great, something fun, something workable.
For sure. So, you guys, again, one of the truly flagship products, services, brands in the big blocker Bitcoin space. HandCash has been around for a long time. It's been a pillar of the community. It's still one of the most used products among people. Like I keep, it's like the only active wallet on my personal phone. Like I personally am a HandCash user. As a business, we use other tools like Gorilla Pool and these other things. Like we use RockWallet and we're doing business with. That's what actually Gorilla Pool also has a HandCash account. So we are users. I am a user. I established the Kurt handle in probably 2017 or maybe early 2018, back when it was a Bitcoin Cash product. And so I'm a real fan and a real customer and really appreciate you guys. But so I just want to say, first of all, thank you for having the stick-to-itiveness, for being the brand that's just like, hey, we're here. You're kind of becoming the like, well, what's even in BSV? And I'm like, man, HandCash is still here. It still works, still fast. It's in fact iteratively getting better and better in a lot of ways. But yeah, so you guys are awesome. Not to just sit and blow smoke up your skirt for the last 5 minutes here, but I really do genuinely appreciate the work you guys do. So really grateful to have you on the show and also have your friendship, and you and 2/3 of your company frankly are guys that I like to see when I see you and like to chat.
Sure.
So
yeah,
no, you guys are great. So
yeah,
thanks
no,
again for all that.
I appreciate all that, Kurt, and same goes both ways. I mean, not just to you, but to everybody that's been engaged in BSV for the last 7 years. It hasn't been an easy ride, but we do appreciate everybody, every single person, every single project. Like Twetch was awesome. I miss Twetch, and just there's just been such a strong journey for everybody in this space, and I think BSV is not going away anytime soon, and we're just going to keep running with it. And one last thing I just want to say is, like, anybody's out there that has an idea, that's looking to build something out, that is looking to invest a small scale, medium scale, large scale level into building out a project. Wallet API is here. It's available for you. You can build your own thing. You don't have to depend on HandCash as a wallet. You don't have to associate with HandCash as a gaming product. You build your own product with your own wallet, with your own tools that we provide, and
it's awesome.
Yeah, we can help you out for sure.
Yeah, beautiful. Where can we learn more about that stuff?
We're still working on getting the page up. So for now, just follow at Go Veridian. That's just the handle I chose. The company name is just Veridian, but
I like it.
Yep. That's the handle on X. So follow us there.
All right, lovely, Brandon. It's been a pleasure. Looking forward to seeing you again soon. And thanks for coming.
Thank you very much, Kurt. Take care.
All right, take care. All right, so we will fire up the comment of the day, which probably need to have a little private chat on. My brother has a tendency to have a good feedback about what is the actual funniest comment of the day, but let's pick one of those. Let's maybe play an ad. We can do we have a Champions ad? We have that really crazy Champions ad. So we play the Champions ad, have a little private chat, do one of these, and then we'll choose the comment of the day. So play that ad if you can.
Choose your hero. Eldrick Soyhammer, Divine Crusader.
The time is now, champions. To war!
Jesus the Risen.
Blessed be the cheddar.
Boris, Protector of Innocence.
I'm all natural.
Solrend, Scythe of the Damned.
Your soul is mine. No refunds.
Lilith, Princess of Hell.
Self-destruction is an art.
Wagyu, Tasty Samurai.
High-grade beef with a killer instinct.
Skibbity.
Skibbity.
Brain Rot Incarnate.
Skibbity dot dot.
All right, welcome back, everybody. We got a comment of the day. Did you pick one? Fire away. Just pick one. Make it like the lotto, like the bouncing balls around. Also, let's take a few more comments from the or questions from the box as well. We got. Are you still there? Is my producer still there? Is he alive? He might not even be here anymore. Do we have a time frame on credit card payments? Is that what we're going with? Is that the comment of the day? We're giving it to Joey. Fire away. Play the reel. Play the comment of the day reel. Go. Lovely. Congratulations, Joey. Please reach out to Real CoinGeek at Real CoinGeek on X. And let's take a few more questions. There's some questions about like Terranode and some other stuff that wasn't HandCash related, but let's do that and we can wrap it up in like 2 or 3 minutes. So let's pull up a couple. What do we got? It is said that XA, I don't know what any of that means, from Mr. Jackwort, which is a nice German name, I think. So I don't know. I don't know what any of that means. where was the Terranode question or some other goodies in here? There's definitely goodies in this conversation. Or we just wrap it up. Trembling in the loins over the overlords, making definitely true. Got Dave busting him. I am on all the watch lists for addressing the president directly. I think protest is not allowed anymore. Was the last thing. Here we go. Here's a good one. Kirk, can you explain what the crypto industry is? I don't know if anybody can explain what the crypto industry is. TBH. It's a loose collection of people that want to pretend that they are in finance, or maybe used to be in finance when they worked in places like New York until they got fired and fined, and now live in Lugano or the Maldives or Gibraltar or Singapore or whatever, and they LARP about the new world economy that's coming soon. But in reality, they're just kind of pumping tokens. So that's almost entirely what the crypto industry is. Now, to be fair, there are some professionals in the space that deserve credit for doing some things well. These would be your, some stateside market makers. Like I can think of a few companies like, Cumberland Mining or Blockfills, that are actually taking old world financial product and using them to provide real value into what they see as the coming crypto economy. And I think there are like honest, actual business people that are doing these things. And so like there's some action there that's you can look at and say, oh, these are real business people trying to run a real business, but they're very few and far between. And also just because I think that they have a decent basic business model, I still think they're basically wrong about where they're applying it. And, I've been arguing with XRP people like all day today because I mentioned XRP once on the internet. And so now I got all the bots who are letting me know I'm infertile and bald and all these other things that, I'm not infertile, but I'm pretty bald. But they just start getting into these, oh man, there's never going to be a liquidity problem anywhere ever again because Ripple solves it. It's like, no, they didn't. They didn't solve the traveling salesman problem, which is the first thing you need to solve, or else it's just a meme. Like it's a pitch deck. Like you have a pitch deck with a token that's been around for 13 years at this point. Does Saylor actually buy BTC when he says he does? We don't know. There is no audit. The books are closed, everybody. Like, don't trust Verify unless it's little Mike and, it just whatever. And actually there's been some people calling him out for this on X recently. Like, hey man, what is the address that those coins are going into, Mike? And just cut to there is no second best. Like he doesn't answer the question, which is a little telling. So I don't know. That's doing another question or two, or should we just let it go? Hit me up in the private chat if we should just let her go. Let her go. Realize Kurt is in finance, 6'5" and blue. I am about 6'3", maybe even a touch shorter than 6'3". But thank you, Hooligan, much appreciated. Everybody, no, it's been great. Thanks for watching the CoinGeek Weekly live stream every Tuesday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You give me something to do every week, everybody, and you remind me to be good to each other because sometimes it takes a little bit of patience and discipline and all the rest of it to make it all happen. But because of you, because you tune in, because you like, subscribe, hit the alert bell, because you buy from all of our sponsors, because you're doing all the things, because you're using RockWallet, trading money, playing the Champions TCG game and all this stuff, now much more closely associated with HandCash, all of which have now been, blessed to be sponsors of the show, makes all this possible. So thank you, everybody, for spending this hour with me. Please tell your friends. Please get more people to like, subscribe, hit the alert bell so that we let our digital overlords know that you want to watch more CoinGeek Weekly live stream. I am your host, Kurt Walker Jr., and it has been a pleasure. Again, be good to each other, and I will see you next week. Goodbye.